Before Makita built a single power tool, it spent more than 40 years just fixing other people's machines. And almost nobody expected that repair shop to end up running one of the biggest power tool empires on the planet. Today, Makita is one of the most recognized names in professional power tools. Its signature teal-blue drills, saws, and impact drivers are trusted by contractors, carpenters, and DIY enthusiasts in more than 40 countries. But what if I told you that Makita didn't begin by making tools at all? When the company was founded in 1915, it was a small electrical repair shop in Nagoya, Japan, repairing motors, transformers, and lighting equipment. For more than 4 decades, it built its reputation by fixing machines, not manufacturing them. So how did a modest repair business transform into a global power tool empire? This is the remarkable story of Makita. Makita's story begins on March 21, 1915, when Masaburo Makita established Makita Electric Works in Nagoya, Japan. At the time, Japan was undergoing rapid industrialization, and electricity was becoming increasingly important for factories, businesses, and households. Instead of manufacturing products, the young company focused on selling and repairing electric motors, transformers, and lighting equipment. It was a practical business built around solving problems for customers rather than creating new machines. Although repairing equipment may not sound glamorous, it gave Makita something that many manufacturers lacked: an intimate understanding of how electrical machines actually worked. Every motor that failed, every transformer that overheated, and every repair job taught valuable lessons about durability, reliability, and engineering. Rather than learning in laboratories, Makita learned through years of hands-on experience with real machines operating under real conditions. As the company gained experience, it also earned the trust of customers. This steady growth eventually opened new opportunities beyond Japan. In 1935, Makita completed its first overseas export, shipping electric generators and motors to the Soviet Union. It was an important milestone that showed the company already had ambitions far beyond serving its local market. Just 3 years later, in 1938, the growing business was officially incorporated as Makita Electric Works, Inc., marking another step in its development. Yet, despite these achievements, Makita still wasn't a power tool company. More than 40 years after its founding, it remained focused on electrical equipment and repair services. The products that would eventually make the Makita name famous hadn't even been imagined yet. Everything would change in the late 1950s when one bold decision transformed the company's future forever. But the change that would define Makita's next century wasn't a bigger repair job or a new customer. It was a decision to stop repairing other people's machines and start building its own. A bet the company's own leadership wasn't fully sure would pay off. For more than 4 decades, Makita had built its reputation by repairing and servicing electrical equipment. The company understood motors inside and out, but it still relied on selling and maintaining products designed by others. By the 1950s, however, Japan was entering a new era of reconstruction and industrial growth. Construction activity was increasing, manufacturing was expanding, and professionals needed portable electric tools that could help them work faster and more efficiently. Makita's leadership recognized that simply repairing machines would no longer be enough. If the company wanted to shape the future instead of following it, it had to start building its own products. That turning point came in 1958, when Makita introduced Japan's first portable electric planer, the Model 1000. For the company, this wasn't just another product launch. It was the beginning of an entirely new identity. After spending decades understanding how electrical machines worked, Makita was finally applying that knowledge to create equipment of its own. The portable planer demonstrated that the company could combine electrical expertise with practical engineering to solve real problems faced by carpenters and construction professionals. The success of the Model 1000 gave Makita the confidence to think much bigger. Instead of treating power tools as an experiment, the company decided to make them the center of its future. In 1959, Makita officially shifted its business toward becoming a dedicated power tool manufacturer. It also began exporting its portable electric planer to Australia, marking the start of its journey into international markets. What had once been a local electrical repair business was now competing on a global stage with products carrying its own name. This transformation wasn't the result of luck or a single invention. It was the outcome of more than 40 years of accumulated experience. Every repaired motor, every serviced transformer, and every electrical problem the company had solved contributed to the engineering knowledge that made the transition possible. Makita had spent decades learning how machines failed, and now it was using those lessons to build machines designed to last. The decision to become a manufacturer changed the company's direction forever. But making one successful tool was only the beginning. The next challenge was far greater, proving that a Japanese company could compete with established power tool makers, not just at home, but around the world. Launching one successful power tool was an important milestone, but it didn't guarantee Makita's future. The company now faced a much bigger challenge. It had to convince professionals that it wasn't just an electrical repair business experimenting with new products. It was a manufacturer capable of building reliable tools that could withstand the demands of everyday work. Earning that trust would take years of continuous improvement, careful engineering, and a commitment to quality. Throughout the 1960s, Makita steadily expanded its range of electric power tools while refining its manufacturing capabilities. Rather than chasing rapid growth for its own sake, the company focused on developing products that met the practical needs of carpenters, builders, and industrial workers. Each new tool strengthened Makita's reputation for reliability and helped establish the brand in Japan's rapidly growing construction and manufacturing sectors. As demand increased, so did the company's confidence that it could compete with established manufacturers. The strategy worked. By 1969, Makita had become Japan's leading power tool manufacturer, a remarkable achievement considering that just over a decade earlier it had produced its first power tool. The transformation from a small repair business into an industry leader had taken more than 50 years, but it proved that the company's decision to reinvent itself had been the right one. Makita was no longer simply servicing electrical equipment. It was helping define the future of portable power tools in Japan. Success at home also gave the company a new ambition. Japan's market offered tremendous opportunities, but Makita's leadership understood that long-term growth would require reaching customers beyond its borders. Building great tools was one challenge. Building a global brand was another. The question was no longer whether Makita could manufacture world-class products. The question was whether it could take those products into international markets and compete against established names around the world. That opportunity arrived in 1970 when Makita took its first major step toward becoming a truly global company. By the end of the 1960s, Makita had established itself as Japan's leading power tool manufacturer. But the company's leadership knew that success at home was only part of the journey. Construction industries around the world were growing rapidly, and demand for reliable electric power tools was increasing beyond Japan's borders. If Makita wanted to become a truly global company, it couldn't simply export products from Japan. It needed to build a presence where its customers were. That vision began to take shape in 1970 when Makita established its first overseas subsidiary in the United States. It was a significant step because the American market was one of the largest and most competitive in the world. Instead of remaining a domestic manufacturer, Makita chose to invest directly in international operations, bringing its products closer to professional users overseas. The move also demonstrated that the company was thinking beyond short-term sales and focusing on building long-term relationships with customers around the world. The United States was only the beginning. Over the following decades, Makita steadily expanded its international network by establishing subsidiaries, sales offices, and manufacturing facilities in multiple countries. Rather than relying on a single export market, the company built a global system capable of supporting customers across different regions. This expansion allowed Makita to understand local markets more closely while maintaining consistent engineering standards and product quality. As its international footprint grew, so did its reputation. Contractors, carpenters, electricians, and construction professionals increasingly associated the Makita name with dependable performance and durable engineering. The company wasn't becoming famous because of one revolutionary product or one aggressive marketing campaign. Instead, its reputation was built gradually, one market at a time, through decades of consistent product development and customer trust. By expanding beyond Japan while continuing to invest in engineering, Makita had transformed itself from a national manufacturer into an international brand. But global success also brought new responsibilities. As technology evolved and customer expectations changed, the company would once again have to adapt. This time by expanding beyond traditional power tools and preparing for the next generation of professional equipment. By the late 20th century, Makita had established itself as a respected global manufacturer. But reaching the international stage didn't mean the journey was over. As construction methods evolved and professional users demanded more specialized equipment, the company faced a familiar challenge: how to keep growing without losing the engineering principles that had brought it this far. In 1991, Makita took another important step by changing its corporate name from Makita Electric Works, limited to simply Makita Corporation. The change reflected more than a new logo or a shorter name. It signaled that the company had grown beyond its origins as an electrical equipment business into a diversified global manufacturer. By this point, the Makita name itself had become recognized around the world, and the simpler corporate identity better reflected its international presence. That same year, Makita strengthened its position by acquiring Dolmar, a well-known manufacturer of outdoor power equipment. The acquisition allowed the company to expand beyond traditional electric power tools into products used for forestry, landscaping, and outdoor maintenance. Instead of relying on a single product category, Makita was broadening its portfolio to serve a wider range of professionals and industries. These decisions demonstrated a pattern that had shaped Makita's history from the very beginning. Whenever the market changed, the company adapted. It had evolved from repairing electrical equipment to manufacturing power tools. It had expanded from serving Japanese customers to operating around the world. Now, it was extending its expertise into new categories while continuing to invest in engineering and product development. By the early 21st century, Makita was no longer simply competing as a manufacturer of drills and planers. It had become a global brand with an extensive range of professional equipment, supported by international manufacturing, sales, and service networks. The small repair shop founded in Nagoya had transformed into an organization operating on a completely different scale. Today, that transformation can be measured not just by the products Makita makes, but by the size of the company itself and the global reach it has achieved over more than a century of continuous evolution. More than 100 years after Masaburo Makita opened a small electrical repair shop in Nagoya, the company bears little resemblance to its humble beginnings. What started as a business repairing motors and transformers has grown into one of the world's leading manufacturers of professional power tools. Yet despite its remarkable expansion, the philosophy that shaped the company in 1915 remains surprisingly familiar. Understand how machines work, build them to last, and continue improving them as technology evolves. Today, Makita operates on a truly global scale. According to the company's latest corporate figures, it employs 17,586 people worldwide and reported 777.6 billion yen in consolidated revenue for the financial year ending March 31, 2026. Its products are manufactured in facilities across multiple countries and supported by an international network of sales offices and service centers. From cordless drills and impact drivers to angle grinders, circular saws, gardening equipment, and outdoor power products, Makita now serves professionals and homeowners in more than 40 countries. What makes this growth remarkable isn't simply the numbers, it's the consistency of the company's evolution. Unlike businesses built around a single breakthrough invention, Makita expanded by repeatedly adapting to changing markets. It shifted from repairing electrical equipment to manufacturing power tools. It expanded from serving Japanese customers to building an international presence. It broadened its product range as professional needs evolved, ensuring that each stage of growth prepared the company for the next. Perhaps the most impressive part of Makita's story is that none of this happened overnight. There was no single invention that instantly transformed the company into a global powerhouse. Instead, every milestone built upon the one before it. The decades spent repairing electrical equipment created engineering expertise. That expertise led to Japan's first portable electric planer. The success of that planer established Makita as a manufacturer. That reputation opened the door to international expansion, which eventually grew into the worldwide organization we know today. More than a century after its founding, Makita's story offers a simple but powerful lesson. Great companies are not always built by chasing the next big opportunity. Sometimes they are built by mastering one skill, earning trust over time, and having the courage to reinvent themselves when the future demands it. When most people see the Makita logo today, they think of drills, saws, and construction sites. Few realize that the company behind those tools spent more than 40 years repairing electrical equipment before manufacturing its first power tool. That forgotten chapter is what makes Makita's history so remarkable. From a modest repair shop founded in 1915 to the launch of Japan's first portable electric planer in 1958, to becoming Japan's leading power tool manufacturer and eventually expanding across the globe, Makita's journey is a story of patience, adaptation, and long-term vision. Every major milestone came from recognizing when it was time to change, and having the confidence to make that change before competitors forced the issue. Today, millions of professionals rely on Makita products without ever thinking about the century of engineering, reinvention, and persistence behind the brand. But perhaps that's the greatest achievement of all. The company didn't just build tools, it built a reputation that has lasted for generations. And it all began with a small electrical repair shop in Nagoya that simply wanted to keep machines running. Here's a question for the comments. If a company spent 40 years just repairing other people's machines before building anything of its own, would you have bet on it becoming a global leader? Or did Makita just get lucky? Tell me your take, and which brand's hidden history you want uncovered next. And if you love documentaries uncovering the untold stories behind the world's greatest companies, be sure to subscribe. There are many more remarkable journeys hidden behind the logos we see every day.